I'm thinking like new God of War. Good morning.
Welcome to Taps and Takes, baby.
Welcome to Taps. Welcome to Takes. It's stupid. Taps and Takes.
It's so stupid. Taps and
Taps and
Takes.
Takes.
This is where we talk about all that entertainment, nerd news, and sports news that you are just fiending for.
And guess what? We got a heavy plate for you today. A heavy dosage.
There's
real thickums.
So much stuff to go over, man.
Oh, yeah.
We had Summer Games Fest.
We did.
Which is kind of weak, to be honest.
It was a little. I mean, you know what? It was. I didn't think it was super big. It's low-key Elliot coded, though.
All right. Well, we'll get into that. We got a very special review of Predator: Killer of Killers.
That's right.
We're actually going to start off with that, and yes, there will be spoilers, so watch out for that. Also, if you notice, Fast Eddie Edward Rouse, not here.
He's so fast. He already did the show and left.
Yeah, he did the show and he left. No, Fast Eddie, he's supposed to be coming back next week. He has a ballerina review. The long and short of it, pretty solid.
Pretty damn good.
Pretty damn good. I haven't seen it yet myself, so I'll give you my 2 cents when I do see it.
There's too many good movies going out right now.
You know what? We are in a movie renaissance, and that's a good thing.
I feel like summer 2023, 2024, and 2025 were stacked. Rest of the year, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like the summers have been so back for movies.
And that's a good thing.
So
that is ultimately a good thing. And of course, we got to thank Groggs Traditional Irish Pub. Listen, if you haven't noticed, it is hot as balls outside.
It's big hot.
It's big hot.
You've heard of Big Pharma? This is big hot.
And Groggs is big chilly. You come in here, sometimes you even need a freaking sweater. Maybe a do-over podcast sweater. What? Like a hoodie with the iron on?
Huh?
Does Sarah have the cry cut working with the iron-ons?
Ooh.
What?
Interesting. Interessante.
We'll talk about that. And also, if you want to check out our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/the Do-Over Podcast, it is probably being recorded as we speak. Jess is off this week. She needed some time off.
That's okay.
She's so tired. She's a working gal.
She is a working gal.
We are going to talk about, though, on the podcast, how the girls' Classy, Sassy, and Shade has now became Classy, Sassy, and
Classy, Sassy, and
Conspiracy Channel.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that.
I mean, they're hot topics. They're hot button issues, you know? So, I mean, we were a little kind of political last week. So, I mean, we can dive into the spookier side, the freaky naughty side.
I don't think our politics last week was that bad because I was just like, hey, man.
Freaky naughty.
Just be cool. But anyways, with all that being said, let's get into it.
Want to dive on in?
I want to dive on in.
Dive on in.
Elliot?
Yes.
Go ahead and get us started.
Let's start with the biggest movie, or is it the biggest movie? It was for me. I know Eddie loved Ballerina, and I've heard great things about it. I do want to see it. But for me, the biggest movie release was on Hulu this weekend, and it was Hulu's Predator: Killer of Killers. It is an animated anthology movie that all comes together for a grand finale of stories connecting, and it is everything a Predator fan could want and more.
It's so good.
It's awesome.
And it's, and it's not because we have a love of animation that makes it good.
It helps for me.
I mean, yes, but we are going to get into spoilers. So, hey, York, go ahead and put a spoiler tag right here. Yeah, we got spoilers coming, but here is the rundown. Dan Trachtenberg, the guy who did Prey, which was, and I knew it was going to be great when I saw the trailer and everyone was like, oh, girls are fighting the Predator. But I knew it was going to be good. Prey, exceptional.
Yeah, Prey was awesome.
The fact that we didn't get that in a theater was kind of
such a shame.
A shame.
It was a shame.
And largely, I would feel almost the same way about this, but I kind of understand why they did it this way because this format, it's an anthology movie.
So Prey definitely should have been seen on the big screen. Definitely should have been a movie theater. I look at it the same way as kind of like Romulus, Alien Romulus, in the sense of it's connected to the overall like kind of story of Predator. but it's also this beautifully shot, gruesome movie that is just awesome.
Well,
and it brings you back to what made those franchises so special. This one
it went back to the formula.
Right.
Yeah.
This one, I feel like for how gory it was, for how just action-packed it was, this is fine as a streaming thing.
Dude, let's go through the setup. Now, there's 3 people that it focuses on and their stories.
Right.
You got Ursa, daughter of Ainur.
Yeah, the shield, the sword, and the bullet.
Then you have the samurai. I forget his name, but dude, she was calling him Weasel.
Well, I don't think they gave him a name.
I don't know.
It was silent because it was like a silent film for the first part.
And see, this is the reason why probably they did it in this format. Is in the second story. So the first story, it's Nordic.
Yes.
Okay. It's Viking.
Mm-hmm.
The second story is feudal Japan, samurai and ninja.
Very cool.
Twins that were kind of split because one was vying to be the shogunate, or the warlord.
One didn't want to fight his brother. The other one wanted power, essentially.
And then when their father died, he came back to get back together. He was pretty much exiled from the clan because he wouldn't fight his brother. Comes back, and there's like 2 sentences in that whole and it's
story. At the very end of
it's at the very end.
Very end.
Then you have the Bullet, which is a World War II pilot.
Which at first I was like, it kind of felt like I was losing something with Predator, as it was a dogfight. It was a pilot dogfight. But the more I thought about it, I was like, this is something we've never seen.
Right.
It shows off the Predator as a specialist in something different than just hunting,
right?
Or a different style of hunting. And I was like, I'm glad they did it.
Yeah.
Because it gives you a different perspective of how they could view hunting in general.
And then at the end, and then this is a spoiler, because at the end of each story, it kind of fades into their memories. Like the story of their fight is their memory, and they're all on a ship going somewhere with these tags. These 3 people from different times, right, are going somewhere. And basically at the end, it's a battle royale. One person lives, and that one person will fight the mega predator warlord.
Or a farming specialist. Just standing over him with the giant skeleton throne and it was so sick.
Let me talk about I'm going to get what I didn't like about it out of the way up front.
Okay.
There was some very big at the end, mainly. Everything else was fine, but at the end, there was some big okay, he just did that kind of a thing, like logic issues. Like,
sure,
you just know how to use their tech now, or you just know how to fly their ship now.
He was listening to the ship.
I know, and I know that was that was a foreshadow thing about feeling the machine around. I get it, but at the same time, I was like, okay, that's very unbelievable.
Sure,
but it works good in an animated format. Yeah, right?
That wouldn't have worked in live action.
The
for sure.
other problem I had is these people were captured, they were abducted, and basically brought to this battle royale thing to fight each other as champions, right?
Right.
But usually the Yucha, the actual race of the predators, if you kill the predator that's coming after you, which all 3 of these people killed the predator, when you kill the predator, you get kind of like a trophy and they fuck off. And then they're like, they respect it. They're like, oh, you're one of us. You survived. We respect that. And now I feel like, okay, so wait, they just got him and they're going to pit him against each other. That's the thing about the Predator society that I always liked in the films, is that like they respect it if you kill one of their own, because you are so less advanced and less, I guess, physically advanced.
So I haven't read any of the comics. I haven't looked deep into the lore of Predator. I'm always excited when I see it, because then it's like peeling back an onion for me. It's like, oh, something new, something exciting. I always felt like, because I always reference Alien vs. Predator, and I know probably it's not related to any of this, but when she killed Alien, or the xenomorph, she got that like badge on her, right? In that weapon.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of like in the Predator movies, were they ever really like, because we don't see what happens after with the other Predators, right? So it's like, did Dutch just get to live the rest of his life?
Right.
Did, I don't know the guy's Predator 2's name.
Danny Glover.
Danny Glover. I mean like his character name.
Yeah.
essentially Danny Glover. Like, did he get left alone after this? So I'm glad they kind of give you like an answer to what could have happened to the protagonist or like the guy in Predators. Because he actually, at the end, he just had to keep fighting.
Right.
Like they show the next batch of Predators coming. He's like, I'm never getting out of this, man.
Well, and the question is, what I do like about this film is that each mainline story Predator looks different.
Yes.
And I'm thinking to myself, what Dan Trachtenberg is doing right now is peeling back, like you said, like an onion, peeling back the layers of the Utah society that like, if they are a race of people, it makes sense that they would have different figures, different looks.
Right.
They would look different. They would be different. They
Some
would
be built a little bigger.
Yes. They would specialize in different things. Like this makes sense. So what I do like about what he's doing is he's building out the society because we've only been piecemealed things of the Predator society. Right. So, all in all, I give it a 9.5 out of 10.
I gave it a flat 9. I loved it.
It's so good.
My only issue is I wasn't necessarily convinced on the dogfight, the pilot part, just because it's so different. I'm glad they did it. I don't know if it hit 100% for me. And I just felt like it did leave me wanting more.
Oh, yeah.
Like so much more.
I'm interested. I hope they revisit this style of storytelling and they do this again and further the story of these characters because I really liked all of them. Even the pilot, which I thought for me would be the one story that I wasn't into. I like the pilot too.
Well, and
I just think that he's too like.
No, I didn't mind. I think his name was Jesse, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. It's not that I didn't like him. I liked his character a lot. I just the style of combat, I guess, is so foreign to me in a Predator film that it took me a minute to like, do I like this? Do I not? It feels very. It didn't feel as like live or die because I mean you could just get out of the plane and then boom, he's not going to hunt you anymore.
Not necessarily.
Like,
I mean, like
if he had never gotten on that plane, he's never hunted.
I don't know, man. I thought what they did was good. I think it's an excellent movie.
I agree.
It's probably for me.
It's third.
For me, it's side by side on Prey. It goes Predator 1, Prey, and this movie. I think Dan Trachtenberg is now. We'll see what happens with Badlands at the end of the year. But this makes me even more excited for Badlands because we're gonna have a Predator as the main protagonist, and I'm thinking to myself like, bro, and then. They kind of, the callers that they had kind of translated the Predator's language and they spoke and it was sick. And I was like, they're going for it. You know, to give them credit, they're going for it. And the only thing that you can do with this franchise is kind of expand on what they are to make it even better. And I feel like he gets it.
No.
And like literally the only problem I had is like, oh, okay, so if you beat the Predator and they give you a trophy, like then they'll come abduct you and like you're fucked anyways.
Well,
that doesn't seem like it doesn't seem congruent with the canon that has been established.
I kind of get it though because they are hunters at the end of the day. So like if you killed one of the Predators, you are just more dangerous prey. So I guess the trophy would mean more if you actually hunted them. And that last shot where that alpha predator, king predator, or whatever, like just turns to him and says, let's go hunting, and all the ships start to rise over the sunset. It's like, ooh, that got me chills just thinking about it, man.
It's good. If you haven't watched it yet, hopefully you didn't watch this because we just spoiled it for you, but it's still a good watch. Even if you watch the spoilers on this, it's still a good watch.
And you know
it's excellent.
And you know what's crazy about it? And we'll end on this. Predator, like, 1 will always be number 1 for me. It's
an excellent movie.
It is, to me, it is a 10 out of 10 film for what it is.
Yeah.
Right. But there isn't that like heavy emotional impact. This movie, same with Prey, they brought emotion and like relationships that may have been short, but stuck to you.
Yeah.
That like you'll think about and last, and that brings such a new dynamic to those movies.
Well, it made you care about the characters, dude.
Right.
And it even in like a short story, like it's very short. The storytelling was very short.
Yeah, they're probably like 20 minutes.
20 minutes
per
each
story.
But dude, you cared about the characters. You cared about him at the end.
Right.
I was like, I care about all three of these people.
Right. Well,
especially the Shield Maiden, dude. I love Ursa.
No.
I'm Ursa. And she just goes berserker and just fucks people up with fucking shields.
And her fighting,
so good.
And her fighting style was and it matched the Predator she fought, was so gruesome and so brutal. It was perfect.
And it was so good. Like just the fight scenes in it were so sick. The ninja shit in it was so, God, do you talk about chills? I got chills watching that. I actually rewound it and watched it twice in a row.
Favorite Predator out of the trio? I think it's Samurai 1 for me.
Yeah, it's probably Samurai 1 for me because I like how he's like lanky. Like he was like lanky and very...
Well, and I like how he used different weapons, whereas like the first one was just like a shotgunner.
Yeah.
And then the pilot, which, I don't know, Jesse hit. The human character for me and his dad and his story, that hit. And his relationship with the other pilots, that hit. I don't know if it's like the design or just the fact that the Predator's flying in such a hyper advanced ship. Yeah. It feels kind of like it just didn't sit right with me. I don't know. That'd be like my one thing that makes it not perfect, but 9 out of 10.
Yeah. Very good. Now let's move on to something else, man. What we got?
All right. Let's get through the movie news really quick because they're shorter, smaller stories. Superman Crash Fandango. No surprise. Wonder Woman movie officially in the works. The writing process has begun. That's confirmed by James Gunn, which stoked.
Yeah, duh.
And I'm so excited for the DCU. Like this feels like we're finally on the right track.
Well, we'll say that after we watch Superman.
True.
Okay.
It's
coming out soon, right? Next month?
Early July.
Is that before or after Fan 4?
I think it goes, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it goes Jurassic Park, Superman, Fan 4.
Let me see here. So Superman's July 11th.
I think Jurassic Park's the first weekend.
July. Okay, so Superman's first.
Okay, Superman 1.
And then July 25th is Fantastic Four.
Okay, that gives it about 2 weeks.
2 weeks to do its thing.
Yeah. So I can't wait for that. Wonder Woman behind James Gunn. I don't know how you can think it's going to be a dud. And then Zelda, Legend of Zelda live action. That got pushed back to May 7th, 2027. We all did.
When we haven't gotten any type of confirmation of cast
yeah. And
by this time, I was like, yeah.
Here's what I'm going to say. Back. Push it back, whatever. I don't want to hear about this or see a trailer for it until December 2026.
You know what got me thinking about this, though? Okay, so May 7th, 2027. It is in Nintendo's wheelhouse to push this back to coincide with another Zelda video game.
It would make sense
that they would want to release the next Zelda game, like the next mainline title.
Mm-hmm.
They would want to release that around the time that this is coming out, which tells me that we won't get Zelda on the Switch 2
until 2027.
Probably like March of 2027, if I had to guess.
It's fine. I mean, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom came out 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
2 years ago.
Was it 2?
I believe so. Maybe we're working on 3 now, but I believe it's 2. Great game. That's essentially a 10 out of 10 game. Same with Breath of the Wild. So, I mean...
Here's the question. Do you think it came out 2023?
Okay.
So here's the question. Do you think every Zelda moving forward needs to be that formula? Or do you think they're going to go back to the straight up Ocarina of Time formula that they had before?
I think the good thing about Zelda is they're not afraid to try different styles. Hell, if you really wanted to, you could probably make it you could make it kind of like a, what's where I'm looking for? An Elden Ring style if you wanted to.
I mean,
Link doesn't talk.
It is.
But I mean, you could just make it just no direction other than like save Zelda.
It kind of is.
Yeah, and then you just make the bosses harder, and you could just make it a
Souls-like.
You could make it a Souls-like game if you really wanted to.
Could you imagine having a Souls-like Zelda?
And what would be cool though,
dude, people would lose their shit. They'd be so mad.
Maybe.
They would. Not everything needs to be a Souls-like, man.
No,
I think, but Zelda's combat. I could see being, if you turned it into like a Souls-like, I could see it being a little bit cooler. But just the combat, though.
I'll just say it like this. it would give players a way to customize Link builds. You could focus on his archery. You could focus on his gadgets. You could focus on just straight up sword. Like, hey, come at me, Ganon.
Right.
Come at me, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you could make it a way that you could really customize the combat. And that could be cool.
I just think that not everything needs to be a Souls-like.
I agree.
And, there are good ones, Lies of P, and then there's some bad ones that, and it is such a huge subgenre now of action game that I don't want it to get saturated, and to take something like Beloved, like the Zelda formula, which already got mixed up really big with Breath of the Wild. I mean, that was a stark difference.
You could even, if you wanted to, you could probably make it an RPG.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just interested in what they're going to be doing with the power. I got a couple things real quick.
Okay.
WWDC came out. Okay. That's Apple being Apple, baby. That's them saying, guess what? We got big things in the works. Liquid glass.
Okay.
Liquid glass, Elliot.
Okay.
Boom, biking.
It was just you could have just put a horny alert, a bonk alert.
Biking.
It's fuzzy.
Biking. What you need, Elliot? What you need? Biking.
I think you're liking that biking.
So I downloaded the developer preview on my Mac, on my phone, which is risky, and my iPad. And they're trying so hard to turn the iPad into like a Mac OS operating system, without just making it Mac OS.
Right.
And I don't know why. I don't know if they just don't want the iPad eating up their Mac sales.
Probably.
And that's why.
You got to make everything uniquely different so everybody has something else to buy.
If you give me a 16-inch super powered iPad Pro that basically has Mac OS, that has a touchscreen and works like a Mac, it's done.
Exactly.
Bro, it's done.
So why would they do?
That's the only machine you would need.
Right.
Period.
But that's why they don't want to do it. So you have to buy a Mac.
Anyways, I'll give you updates on my biking. Boom! As we go. Biking.
He's liking the biking.
So what else you got?
All right.
Okay.
Drew.
Okay.
Hang on. Drew going in Friday was like, dude, you better watch this. I'm going to send you the link of my favorite YouTuber.
Maximilian dude, shout out.
Giving him smooches on the screen.
You like Rad Brad. We can all have our likes.
Dude, Rad Brad's go.
We all have our likes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, and he's like, you got to watch this. Second you get home, watch it. Like I have a shot of that when Love Island's going on, which we're going to talk about that on the pod. I've been broken. It's so good.
You're broken. No, it's not.
It's good.
It's not.
No, it is.
It's not.
No, I mean, there's a few people that are like, why are you here? But there are some people that are just good television and they actually have good stories behind them. You're like, why are you a good guy in person? Doesn't make sense. But Ace is that guy. So is Taylor.
Or put the eyes of disappointment on my face.
Anyway, I looked over some of the stuff that got announced. Not a whole lot for me, but there are some things that feel very specific toward me. So I'm into that. Let's start with the biggest teaser, the biggest trailer I would say is Resident Evil 9, Resident Evil Requiem. If you love horror games and horror survival games, you're eating good because you got Silent Hills coming back. You got Resident Evil 9 back in Nuketown, Raccoon City. So you just know the body horror on that's going to be awesome. I can't wait. Resident Evil 7 was fantastic. The remakes have been great. 3, it was good, but it was way too short.
Yeah.
But this looks fantastic. I can't wait. I wonder if they're going to bring Leon back in.
That's what a lot of people are asking, if Leon's going to come all gatted out with his big old chunky
with his
butt.
big old chunky ass.
With his big old chunky ass.
I wouldn't be upset. Leon's the GOAT.
All right. I got thoughts.
All right.
I got thoughts.
All right.
The biggest news by far was actually not even in the Summer Games Fest. Although Resident Evil is huge.
It is.
That's a big announcement. It was Tokon Fighting Souls, the Marvel 4v4 tag fighter. Now, let me explain why this is a big deal. And you may not appreciate this if you don't know like the arcade history of the Marvel versus Capcom games. They are iconic. the idea of Marvel tag fighting has, and for most people will always be, Marvel versus Capcom.
Correct.
And these were gigantic competitive games. MVC 1 is like where it started. MVC 2 is, it owned the arcade for like a year straight.
It owned the arcade for years.
And the Dreamcast. One of the most beloved games in history. Then you had MVC 3, which made it mainstream. I think MVC 3 is actually one of the best selling, if not the second best selling Capcom game.
Maybe. I mean,
how many
did people like it more than 2? I don't know.
3
did it get like is it more well received than 2? I can't imagine it is.
2 million worldwide units. MVC 3 Ultimate, the re-release, 5.5 million.
Damn.
There was different iterations of this game. So I think they sold about 10 million copies worldwide.
Altogether.
All
right.
And this is when it was in the PS4 era where MVC3 was a huge competitive fighting game. Huge. Then MVCI came out, which is lauded as one of the worst games to ever come out of Capcom.
Right.
So Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite got kind of stuck in the Marvel MCU thing where they're like, okay, we're not going to put X-Men characters in it because we don't have the rights to them with the movies. And they made it kind of very MCU-y. The art was lackluster. And a lot of the beloved characters in Marvel vs. Capcom are the X-Men characters, right?
Right. I mean, that's a big chunk of your roster gone.
Yeah. People have been wanting an announcement for MVC4, especially now that they own the rights again to the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. They've been begging for an announcement of MVC4. And it's like, keep the hope alive. It's happening. It's around the corner. Then Arc System Works, who does Guilty Gear.
Right.
Boom, biking. Okay. They come out with this announcement about a 4v4 Marvel only. It's only Marvel characters tag fighter that has the same kind of feeling of soul that MVC has. So everyone was like trying to figure out like, where's Capcom, dude? Like there's obviously people that, I mean, if you go and look at the reaction videos, how many times that this trailer has been viewed, millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of views. Like there's clearly people that want it.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, dude, where the hell? And like, what are they working on to miss such an easy layup? And like Marvel straight up went to Arc System Works. Like, would you guys be interested in doing this? And they
said, yeah.
The cool thing about this though, is that they are leaning in to the whole Japanese side of it. Like the Arc System Works guy, the designers came up with their, like what they felt like Marvel would want to see, you know, how they look wise. Right. Like, and they were not happy. They're like, why don't you do what Arc System Works would want to do? And they heavily leaned into like Japanese mecha for Iron Man.
Yeah, no, Iron Man, like, arguably, I'd say Iron Man and Ghost Rider were two that stood out to me and like looking awesome.
And it's just, they're really leaning into the Japanese influence, but from the name and the mechanics, it looks so good. This is the clear standout winner of this show.
Yeah, I would also say Xbox had a pretty good weekend. Xbox announced the Xbox ROG handheld. That looks powerful. That looks fun. And also, if it is Steam compatible.
I guess my question is like, this isn't the handheld they were working on, right?
I mean, it's the only one I know of. It's like they have the ROG handheld and then they have like the S version, the not so powerful one.
Yeah.
If you can connect Steam to it, which I believe they said you could, I mean, you can get PlayStation games on that now.
Yeah, it's just
so it's just right. Yeah. So I mean, I think that's cool, and I also think it should light a fire under Nintendo's behind, because you got to start bringing some stuff now. If Xbox is getting into the handheld game, you got to start bringing your stars back.
I think at this time, people are just conceding to the fact, especially with all the controversy around the Switch 2, and we both own one.
Yeah,
is that we pretty much just get these for the, for the first party games that Nintendo has.
Although I hear Cyberpunk looks pretty damn good on the Switch too.
I hear Street Fighter 6 plays extremely well. Like out of all the consoles, not PC, but out of all the consoles, it plays the best on the Switch.
Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk it? Gears of War E-Day. Can't wait for Gears, man.
So is that a prequel or a remake of the first one?
So they are remaking the first one for new consoles.
Yeah.
So for PlayStation and all that stuff. E-Day is the first day the locusts come.
Okay.
It's Emergence Day, which is the fabled day in the Gears of War series. Before it was humans at war, then the locusts arrive unifying Earth. So you'll get young Marcus back, young Dom, probably. Actually, I don't know if they knew Dom, so it's probably a different crew. It's probably just Marcus and Dom, and then maybe Cole and Baird. But that's going to be coming 2026. I can't wait. Gears, I thought Gears 4 was good, not great compared to Gears 3.
I haven't played any Gears of War since the first one.
Oh, Gears 2 and 3. Gears 1 through 3 I thought was an almost perfect trilogy of video games.
Mm-hmm.
Gears 4, I had you get it, a great moneymaker. You got to find the next generation. 4 was good. 5, it didn't need to be an open world side quest game, but they made it that way, and that's why it didn't do so hot. But I can't wait for E-Day.
Yeah.
And if they can get enough people behind this, push Dave Bautista and push this damn movie out. Make this happen. It's the easiest slam dunk ever. Bautista's a great actor. He wants to do it. You got Terry Crews. He could do Coltrane if you wanted. It writes itself.
I don't know if enough people... You can have a concept that not a lot of people know about, but we'll go and see if it looks like a good movie. And maybe Gears of War is that as an action movie. I just don't feel like it has the broad enough appeal.
It feels late.
I don't know.
But if E-Day's a huge success and it brings people back to the genre and back to the world, Dave Bautista's been campaigning
I'm telling you, which he would be the obvious choice.
Yeah.
But Elden Ring, that's a movie that could have a wide appeal.
Yeah, because it's hot right now.
It's not just because of how it looks, like what it is, the dark fantasy kind of crazy, weird, but if done well, that could... Gears of War to me just seems like almost like if not done well, it's going to be another Halo problem where it's like a cheese dick.
Maybe.
And, we don't want to talk about the Halo show from the boys and gals at Groggs because they have strong feelings and opinions about that.
Speaking of cheesy, Persona 4 remake, we all knew it was coming. Persona 5 Royal blew up. Persona 3 Reload.
Why does everyone love Persona so much? Like, I don't want to play a video game where I have to go do homework and fucking go to school.
No, it can be tedious at times.
At times, it's the whole fucking game.
Well, it's a dungeon crawler. Well, dungeon crawlers are tedious games. Great music, for starters. Excellent vibes and styles. And I think people like you know what it is? I know what it is. People like the waifu simulators. People like it, man. People like the relationship building parts of video games, man.
I don't get it.
It's not my favorite part. It can be tedious and also
just go get a relationship in real life.
Well, also relationships are such a big part of that game, so you have to build them up to get more powerful personas, and so you have to do the stuff in order to build the relationship.
I roll, Elliot. I roll. I remember everyone was blowing up so hard in Persona 5, and I finally caved in. I was like, all right, everyone is talking about how excellent and perfect this game is. I went and bought it. I played it for 4 hours. I'm like, this is fucking lame. And I turned that shit off.
I beat it. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
No thanks.
The art style is beautiful. The music's fantastic. And, although the game can be repetitive and so it can feel like it drags on at times, I think if you're interested in JRPGs, it's the easiest one to get into.
All right, what else we got?
One thing, Invincible fans be eating good in the last couple of years.
Another tag fighter, dude. Tag fighters are coming on the comeback, dude. You got 2XKO from Riot. You have the Invincible tag fighter.
Invincible versus
which
3v3.
Looked tight.
I thought it looked good. It's not the open world Invincible game we were all kind of hoping for, but that would be so hard to do.
And I don't think it doesn't seem as polished and like the same type as the Arxis Tag Fighter.
Mhm.
The Arxis Tag Fighters looks like it's been in development for like at least 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So, but this looks like more of like KI meets Mortal Kombat.
It's very
kind of
Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
I would say
3v3. You've got flying characters and heavy hitter,
I guess.
and then you've got, you have your Rexplodes, you have your Adam Eves,
Right.
So I mean, I just want to see the release of Battle Beast though.
Yeah.
Bro's gonna be a menace.
A menace.
He's gonna be a menace.
Or
he's
like-
gonna be the most toxic video game character for 2026.
Thrag.
Oh yeah,
It's Thrag. It's like you can't have anyone else. It's just Thrag.
it's just Thrag.
It's just
Yeah,
Thrag.
dude. And plus, you got the announcement a while ago that Invincible Season 4 coming out 2026. So Invincible fans,
Eating good.
eating good.
All right. What else we got?
My last video game story. We didn't even talk about the video game movie story.
Well,
that
this
I had.
is what I
had James
yeah.
Bond, the James Bond video game. It looks like Hitman,
Yeah.
but it looks fun. James Bond video games, a lot of people poo-poo on them. They're kind of fun.
Because it doesn't live up to GoldenEye. And we all have so many good memories of multiplayer early days
If you've never...
in Bond.
True, GoldenEye is iconic, 10 out of 10. If you got the luxury of playing Everything or Nothing, the James Bond game, I think back on the original Xbox, that game is so James Bond peak. It's still got Pierce.
Oh, does it?
If you do things the stylish way, you get James Bond like points, So there's like one part where Jaws is driving like an 18-wheeler and you get like the souped up motorcycle. It's got like flamethrowers on the back, on the sides. You got and you have to slide under him as it explodes and it goes the whole like and there's one mission where you're literally just free falling, shooting like rockets and machine guns at people.
I mean, like,
It's sick.
That's tight. But I just think that it was such a big, like, it was such a big deal. Like, GoldenEye was such a big deal. I would like to see, and I think they are working on a GoldenEye remake to like make it more modern, right? Because it would, dude, it's like, it was the first like real, I would say, like couch multiplayer split screen thing, and then Halo came around and kind of took that title. But like James Bond walked so
Slowly.
Halo could run. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I don't know. And let's end on the Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, we got
story.
to. Mortal Kombat 2, early reviews, early screenings. People are standing up, cheering, and applauding. Quote, as if it was Avengers Endgame.
Okay.
The fatalities are great. The twist and the quote unquote character deaths are crazy. So there's only one issue. Bland MC.
Yeah, can we get rid of the dude that was the protagonist in the first one? The guy with like the shirt?
That was his special
golden
power.
shirt.
It was the shirt. He wasn't needed.
See, this is when I say, like, if you do video game adaptations correctly, and it was fine. It was like a 6 out of 10 movie.
It was closer
fine.
to 5.
I would say it was a 6 out of 10. It was a fine movie. My problem, my main issue is that they spent so much time trying to explain while regular humans had superpowers, like with and all the Kano things. They spent so much time hanging on that. It's like, bro, you didn't even explain anything. You just throw them in there and be like, hey.
Demons are attacking.
Yeah. And you know what?
Oh, and you're related to Scorpion. Who? Don't worry about it.
And honestly, it could have just been Scorpion.
It should have just been Scorpion.
Like, it could have just been Scorpion.
It should have just been Scorpion.
I do think it was cool how they handled Sub-Zero as if he was like this monster in like a horror movie. Like,
dude,
that was pretty sick.
He was, though. Like,
Yeah.
he was a menace.
Yeah.
He was running on demon time.
No. That was pretty
Jax,
sick.
hey, buddy, you're done.
Yeah, no. That was pretty sick.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and even like the opening fight with Scorpion and his like clan, that was sick. And when he comes back, it's like the spirit of vengeance was cool, but it's like, it gets ruined when a bland character is the focal point of the entire story.
With the golden shirt.
With bland powers.
With golden shirt.
When you have Liu Kang right there.
Yeah.
And you're like, he's side guy now. What do you mean he's side guy now?
No thanks.
He's the guy. So yeah.
Oh.
the problem I have with Mortal Kombat 2, we'll end on this, it's giving me hope.
Yeah, when you hear things like this.
Because like Mortal Kombat 1, I was fine with being like, okay, they tried, it failed, move on.
Right.
Or just focus, stay in your lane in a sense with video games. Now, I'm hearing all this great stuff, and we got Luke Cage coming back, and it's like, damn it, I'm going to watch this.
Of course.
I'm going to watch
Dude,
this
we're
now.
going to watch it. We are definitely going to watch it.
And I'm going to fall for the same trap.
Now, are we going to like it? Who knows? And also, Johnny Cage is being played by, what's his name?
Urban.
From The Boys. Keith Urban.
Is it? It's Urban, yeah?
Keith Urban?
I believe so, Keith Urban.
Or Keith Urban's a singer, isn't he?
You're right, that's singer. Carl Urban.
Carl Urban. And, it'll be interesting to see his interpretation of Johnny Cage's character. But, I'll watch it.
I'm falling for it.
I just, I kind of don't want them to make that. And I want more Scorpion, dude.
We all do.
Scorpion, not his ancestor.
Well, I want Sub-Zero back.
Yeah.
I want Sub-Zero just freezing peeps.
Freezing bitches.
Punching arms off. Did you try climbing after me, but your legs frozen? Kick your legs off.
Well, there you go. There goes our nerd news portion.
It was thick.
It was thick. It was nice and thick.
Big thick.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with sports.
Some sporgans.
Sporgan-dorgans. That's all coming up next. Big shout out to Groggs Traditional Irish Pub at the northeast corner of Willow and Knees. Not only do they house the Do Over podcast for tabs and takes, but they invited us to go blow it up on St. Patrick's Day live on scene. Now that that's done, it's easing us into summer and it gets hella hot here in the Central Valley. Groggs prides themselves on being the coldest drinking establishment in the Central Valley. Literally go down there, get a nice cold pickleback, get a nice cold Guinness, throw it back and leech off that free AC, son. Support Groggs because they support the Do Over podcast. And we're back.
It's magic.
Big shout out to Groggs. Come and get a ice cold Guinness, an ice cold shot of JAMO with that pickleback, or maybe some delicious food. Just come and chill over at Groggs, baby.
Just work when I do that. Just put a little thing in there. Like a little,
northeast corner of Willow and Knees. You know where to go. Now, with that, Elliot, let's get to sports. Sports. Elliot loves sports and balls and sports.
Yeah.
So what we got?
Got a lot, man. Got a lot going on this week. It's been a heavy week in entertainment, nerd, sports news, So let's dive on in.
All right.
Let's start with one of the biggest surprises, the NBA Finals. 3 things here. 1, they need to do something about the courts.
What do you mean?
The courts don't have like anything that says NBA Finals on them. It just looks like a regular home game.
Okay.
Which kind of
is that a problem for you, Elliot?
It kind of takes the mystique out of it. You remember when like Kobe and them used to be in the NBA Finals and you'd see the giant Larry O'Brien trophy in the middle. And then underneath on like the side parts, it would just be like NBA Finals and that cool cursive they have. There's none of that. There's none of that. So you feel like you're just watching a normal basketball game.
It gives you the stink, huh?
They just make us care.
Right.
NBA already has rating issues. So like, give us a better presentation, right? I mean, it's not so hard, right? But let's get into the actual games because we have the OKC Thunder, arguably the heavy favorites for this finals. Game 1, they're up about 16, 17 points. They're dominating for 99% of this game. But if there's one thing we've learned this postseason, you cannot take the Pacers lightly. They chip away, they chip away, they chip away, they chip away. Oh my God, it's a 1-point game. Tyrese Halliburton, one of the best clutch shooters in the NBA this season, does it again, hits a deep 2 with 0.3 seconds left in the game. Pacers steal game 1. How do the Thunder respond in game 2? By beating the brakes off the Pacers. But you knew that would happen because whenever a team blows it, and that is clearly a more dominant team, you knew they had to come back more aggressive, more desperate. So they take care of business in game 2, but the Pacers did everything they needed. They stole a game on the road, so now game 3, it's back in Indiana, and you know that field house is going to be bumping.
But do it again.
Bumping. We got game 3 coming up in Indiana. Should be a good one. I still don't see how the Pacers win this series. I just position to position, the Thunder are just better in everything, you know? And I just don't think they have an answer, the Pacers. Now, Rick Carlisle, excellent NBA coach, definitely going to be a Hall of Fame coach. He was the coach that got Dirk his championship to beat the Heat with LeBron their first year. So, I mean, he knows how to go up against heavy favorites. The way OKC's been built over the years of draft picks and developing their players, I just don't see how OKC doesn't win in 5.
I have a basketball question for you.
I have a basketball answer for you.
Why did they fire the Knicks as coach?
Tom Thibodeau?
Yeah.
Well, James Nolan, the owner of the Knicks, he is not everybody's favorite. He's one of those hands-on owners.
Oh, God.
So when he doesn't like something, he gets rid of things. And there have been stories that Thibs was rubbing people the wrong way. He very much runs like his starting 5 for a majority of the games. He doesn't rely on a lot of bench players. So bench players get issues with it because they don't feel like they're getting opportunity. And also you're running your star players ragged. So when you get to the playoffs, they don't have a tank. They don't have anything left in the tank.
Yeah, but they perform the best that they have in decades underneath.
In the last 25 years. This is the best Knicks team they've had in 25 years.
Right.
The Knicks, I don't get the move either, especially because I don't think there are a lot of great coaches available. There have been rumors that Jason Kidd, who used to play for the Knicks and has been regarded as one of the most sought out coaches right now, they're speculating he might have interest in going, and there might be a play to get Giannis from Milwaukee to the Knicks because he used to coach Giannis. So it could be all in efforts to get Giannis with Brunson in New York with Jason Kidd. However, the Mavs just got essentially Cooper Flagg, the star college player from Duke, or he's set to be the number 1 pick. So does he want to leave building his own team or going to New York to have a chance at a super team?
Do you think that the coaching made such an impact, or do you feel like another coach can come in with these players and actually make a difference?
So I think certain coaches have certain ceilings. And I think Thibodeau's ceiling is a conference finals. Think of it as like Mark Jackson before Steve Kerr. He built this setup to where they developed Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, this young team to be defense first. And they were very good, but they weren't quite great. And so they moved on and pivoted really quick, and they got Steve Kerr, who's very offensively focused, defensively sound, just kind of just brought everything up another level. I think the Knicks are trying to hope for something like that. You had a defensive kind of focused coach who works you hard, that runs you into the dirt, essentially. But now you need somebody that can get the offense and the defense firing on all pistons. So I think they're hoping Jason Kidd, who's had some success as a coach, kind of elevate and then bring the players back in. And when you have a player as respected as Jason Kidd.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they did get Jason Kidd, that would be kind of a big deal.
Well, especially because it could really give Giannis a reason to go to New York. Now, I don't think the Bucks would want to do that, but Giannis is kind of stuck.
Mm-hmm.
The Bucks are kind of like the Knicks in the sense of they've got a very obvious ceiling. Even with one of the best players in the world, they can't get out of the first round. So maybe it would be better for Giannis if he left, and better for the Bucks, because then they could just get so much back for him. And so you could just kind of rebuild. It would suck for a few years, but at least you have a future. So like, okay, we're redeveloping our players, we're redeveloping new players and see where it goes. And then Giannis can spend the next decade dominating somewhere else. But those have just been the rumors. Thibodeau, like you said, though, the best coach the Knicks have had in 20 plus years, got them to their first Eastern Conference Finals since, I believe, 2025.
You hear
or
stories,
2020 or 2000.
You hear stories like this, and I feel like it really does boil down sometimes to some of these owners.
Yeah.
The owners having, like I'll burn you to the ground because I have so much money I can buy my way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Any problem. Instead of like thinking, okay, so what's good for the team? Look at it from a because we've talked about this before. What's good for sports teams when they win? Okay. And if they're winning, even if you hate the coach, that's good for your brand because the more you win, the more merch you sell, the more people that show up to the games because people support winning teams. So if like you're winning, dude, why would you get rid of someone that is developing this team and obviously doing a good job, regardless if you like them or not? Well, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And I mean, my thing is, I just don't see a lot of great coaches available. So, I mean, there aren't that many Hall of Fame coaches you could look around and find, and a lot of these coaches that are great, they're comfortable in their positions right now.
Right.
Steve Kerr's not going to leave the Warriors anytime soon. Ime Udoka isn't going to leave the Rockets because he's building his own team. And the Rockets, though they had a disappointing postseason this year, they're only going to get better because they're so young, right? And then you've got like Rick Carlisle, who developed this Pacers team, who these Pacers in the last 2 years have been to 2 Eastern Conference finals and now the NBA finals. So like he's not going anywhere. Eric Spoelstra's not going to leave the Heat. So you don't really have a lot of options where it comes to like Hall of Fame coaches. Now you could make a shot for Jason Kidd because players love him. You could have the chance of maybe him linking back up with Giannis for a mega trade, but there's just not a lot of great coaches out there. And Tibbs, for his faults, still gets pretty damn good results. And it makes your team relevant. And if there's one thing the Knicks need is relevancy. Because for the last 20 years, they've been
dog
terrible.
Shit. Yeah.
I mean, they had one good year with Carmelo. And I mean, he was your only star for 12 plus years. So I mean, like, you kind of need this. But we'll see where they go. Let's go into hockey. Because Game 1 and Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals were 2 of the most exciting and incredible games ever.
I like it when teams want to win, Elliot. 2
overtime games in Game 1 and 2. Oilers steal Game 1 in a 4-3 win in overtime. Panthers come right back Game 2 in a 6-5 overtime game.
It's a high-scoring game.
Awesome games. Then we go to Game 3 in Florida, and the Panthers maul the Oilers 6-1 at home.
Yeah, that's bad.
Beat down.
That's bad.
An absolute beat down. And this is why I can't bet hockey. Because I told myself in my head, it's like, okay, there's been 2 huge over games, right?
Right.
First one, 7 goals. Second one, 11 goals. Like, what are we talking about here? There's no way there's going to be more than 7 goals this time. So I was telling myself, I'm going to bet the under.
Oh, God.
But I told myself, don't bet this game and watch what happens. 7 goals, over hits.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot, and I'm glad I didn't bet it. Instead, I lost a parlay in baseball. That I definitely didn't bet.
Yeah, because we don't bet in California.
Definitely didn't do that.
What's up with this WWE news?
WWE? Well,
okay, wait, hold on.
I mean, I typed this up because this is Fast Eddie's realm.
Yes.
And so I typed it up, and, they're running with the John Cena heel run.
Yeah.
He beat Cody Rhodes this past weekend, or in their latest pay-per-view. And then R-Truth comes out after he was released from the WWE, comes out and attacks John Cena, letting people know you can't handle the truth, dog. And R-Truth is just one of those like fun star. He's never been a championship guy. He's been a tag team. He's been a goofball, but fans love R-Truth. And he's kind of cool. I got to agree. When he
first kind of cool.
He was one of those guys that when he would come out for his music, his music intro or his intro music, he would come out through the stands.
Oh, would he?
And he would like sing with the fans. So I've always liked that.
Yeah,
he's a fan. He's a crowd pleaser. So he comes back, and so he seems to be like the next guy. They're also teasing CM Punk in John Cena's like heel run. So we'll see where that goes. CM Punk, a good option to potentially retire him. Like Eddie said, they'll probably just stick with The Rock, the final boss. Even though he's retired, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I put this in because this was as of last night. Monday Night Raw goes on. And Gunther, the former world heavyweight champion who lost his championship to Jey Uso at WrestleMania.
Wait. You counter.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately for the Yeet boys, Eddie, put a sad Eddie face. I don't know if we can afford that, but put a sad Eddie face.
Don't know if we can afford it. Yeah. I don't know if we have the resources, but if we do, sad Eddie face.
Right there. Yeah. He got choked out by Gunther. Gunther takes back his world championship, and the Jey Uso fans are sad. And the Gunther fans are probably happy. I don't know. Gunther looks goofy to me.
Yeah.
And I think Gunther's a tough name to sell.
I don't know anything about any of these people.
Yeah. I mean, it's
like at all.
They had Money in the Bank, and Money in the Bank's always a good pay-per-view because you got giant ladder matches. Yeah. So that's always going to be a good spectacle. But Gunther on Monday Night Raw, I don't know why they didn't have him take the title at the pay-per-view, but I don't mind when titles get swapped around because it reminds you of like early 2000s when any Raw, anything could happen.
Right.
So I don't mind that, but it just, I'm sorry. Jey Uso, he felt the yeet. I think there's a pill for that. And now finally, let's end on the NFL because the NFL, we are itching closer and closer.
This is a big story. But you called it, yeah.
It was breaking news, grass is green kind of thing. You know, Aaron Rodgers, after making the Steelers wait for what felt like an eternity, signs right before mandatory camp. He's there now with the Steelers. 1-year deal. I believe it's $13 million, $10 million guaranteed. The Steelers are in quarterback purgatory. They have been since Ben Roethlisberger retired.
Yeah.
And even his last couple of years, he was clearly not the Ben Roethlisberger they remember. Here's what's going to happen. Two things. There's two outcomes for the Steelers. It's the same of what they've been getting forever with Mike Tomlin. 10 wins, gives you some sort of hope, but not really. They get the wild card, and then they lose opening round of the wild card to a much better team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the funnier outcome, and probably the more realistic outcome, is Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback that beat the Steelers to win his first Super Bowl, is also the quarterback that gives Mike Tomlin his first losing record, which is probably more likely and way funnier.
I would also say it would be kind of great if they actually went all the way. Like if he beat them to get a Super Bowl, but then he gave them a title.
I kind of like that story too.
I like that story.
I kind of like that story.
And then he needs to immediately retire. Like if that is what happens, it's time to stop, bro. Well, you're done.
It's this. If Aaron Rodgers did that, it would be one of the most perfect ways to end a career ever.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Total full circle.
It's much like what our boy, the greatest of all time. Who's the greatest of all time, Elliot?
Is it Tom? You saying Tom? Are you saying Brock? I don't know.
Tom Brady.
Well, I know it's Tom Brady. I don't know if you were going to try and troll me or something.
No. Tom Brady left the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went to
Tampa Bay.
Won a Super Bowl. First year out.
Mm-hmm.
Stop. Like, that's when you stop.
That's when you stop.
But you're done.
Psycho. He was like, no, I have to keep playing.
And then he left, and then he came back.
And then he divorced.
And then he's like, I need to play.
And then he left, and then he came back, and then he left again. Yeah. I mean, or like Peyton Manning. And he was bad that year. He was broken as a human being. They had Brock Osweiler playing, and he was terrible. But he got to play in one Super Bowl. His defense was literally historic. And then he got to retire. And that's how you should want to go. So if Aaron, I doubt you're watching this. I don't know if you are. You're into weird stuff. If you find a way into the big game and you win with the Steelers,
it's time to stop.
Let it go.
You did it.
It's perfect.
You did it.
It's a perfect end.
It's the best NFL story you could absolutely ever tell for your own self.
And Packer fans will still love you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You're always going to be remembered as one of the all-time greats.
Even though you're kind of high on your own supply.
A little bit. That's okay. You know what happens to people?
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. Anyways, what else we get?
Last two little stories. Speaking of Packers, we'll go into this one. The Green Bay Packers released veteran cornerback Jair Alexander. When healthy, he is a dominant corner.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately for him, he just hasn't been able to stay healthy over the last couple of seasons. He was going to get expensive. My only issue is you probably could have gotten a trade if you really tried for it. Instead, they released him, so you get nothing for him. And what I feel like happens with a lot of Packer defensive players, they'll probably end up in the NFC, and we're probably going to have to play against him, and he's probably going to be awesome, and it's probably going to bug me.
Like a Saquon Barkley situation?
Yeah, I mean, like, when Packers release players, they always, I feel, end up in the NFC North as either a Lion or a Bear or a Viking. And then they always play kind of sick. And you're like, damn it.
Right.
I hate how much I still love you.
Yeah.
And it's like seeing an ex. And you're like, they clearly got in shape. And they're like, I'm happy for you.
They clearly got in shape.
Like, they're clearly doing better. And you're like, where was this when we were together?
Yeah. Why did you do this when we were together?
Yeah. So
like not be psycho and super hot. Like what the hell?
Yeah. So hope for the best. I wish the best for Jair. He was great for when we had him. And then finally, and this is a story I hope turns out successful. Nick Chubb, Cleveland Brown running back. He had that gruesome, like all knee injury.
Yeah.
Taking on, I believe it was the Browns in that snow game. Destroyed his knee. Went 4 different ways. ACL, MCL, like the works. One of the most brutal leg injuries you'll ever see an NFL player receive. Comes back. He is now signing a 1-year deal with the Houston Texans. And this is actually very good for the Houston Texans because they already have a pretty good defense. They got a great quarterback with CJ Stroud. Joe Mixon, stud running back. And now you've got another just beast of a running back if healthy. This is going to be a mean team you're going to have to play. So if you're the Houston Texans, you love this. Plus, it's a 1-year deal, so it's not going to break the bank. And you can kind of see if if you want to keep kind of like the Lions, how they have the 2 running back boom, Knuckles and Sonic and Knuckles, kind of like speed player and then hitter. You could have that with the Texans, and that could just be brutal for AFC players to have to deal with. So good for the Texans, man.
How much was his contract for?
It was just a minimum deal, 1-year contract. So it's very cheap. And it's very it's like a trial. Like, hey, how healthy are you?
Yeah.
And also, it might not be for us, but you could revamp your career. And then another team could sign you for a couple of years. So hopefully Nick Chubb bounces back because when healthy, dog.
Yeah, and I like his name, Chubb.
Chubb.
That Chubb, I like that Chubb.
That's right. That Chubb. He really knows how to spring in action. You know what I'm saying?
And there you go. There's this week's episode of Taps and Takes. Another big old shout out to Groggs Traditional Irish Pub.
We love them as they're getting set up.
Yep. They're
kind of hinting, get out of here.
Yeah. They need to open up their doors so they can operate. So we need to get the fuck on out of here. But do support Groggs, the northeast corner of Willow and Knees. And then, after you watch this, go and check out our live stream at twitch.tv/The Do-Over Podcast. 559-403-0193 is our hotline. Go ahead and give us a call. Leave a message if we don't answer, but we will be going live. Jess is out this week. And go and subscribe to all of our stuff on YouTube, on Spotify. It's free to do so, and we appreciate it. So until next week, gotta go love you. Bye.
Bye.
That was weird.
Bye.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Stop.
What do you do?
Go. Stop.